You want to hear? You want to hear another prime example? Hmm? You want to hear another prime example as to why America's not great? I just did a stream a few hours ago explaining why America was not great. Here's another prime example of why America's not great.
Just that shall ever be required as qualification to any office.
American culture, we have Christian foundations as a nation, and this does not.
That's your opinion. The First Amendment disagrees that it needs to stay that. If someone wants to express their religion, it's right there as number one in terms of the Constitution.
Go back to that country, that's all I have to say. Go back to that country of origin. It doesn't need to be here.
How about you go back to your country, Nancy Mace? How about you go back to your country? You white supremacist, troglodyte piece of trash. That's what Nancy Mace is. End of story, end of conversation. Nancy Mace sucked Donald Trump to completion to the point where she has a seat as a representative. Mind you, she's on CNN, which, by the way, I don't call it CNN. I call it the NN, Zionist News Network. See, what the Zionist News Network is focused on is literally explaining that Donald Trump is better as a president than Kamala Harris was, and that white people should be worshipped and praised. What about the black people? What about 1619, where white people have lynched black people on trees? Hey, Nancy Mace, I'm pretty sure as a little girl you weren't taught this in school, so let me give you an actual history lesson. What did we as white people do in 1619? We whipped black people. We locked them up. We put them through the Middle Passage. And what happened during the Middle Passage? 1.8 million Native Americans died. And you know what white people did? We put them in fucking ships and cargo ships and dumped them in the fucking ocean. Ooh, the brown people are eating your dogs and cats. Ooh, the Mexicans are poisoning the blood of America. Ooh, be afraid, be afraid, be afraid, be afraid. That's all I hear from white people. Be afraid, be afraid. But don't love your black person. Don't love your Mexican person. Don't love your neighbor. That's what I hear from white people. Love thy neighbor, hate your enemies. That's what I hear from white people. Love thy neighbor, call them out. That's what I hear from white people. Not love thy neighbor as thyself. White people would rather love thy neighbor and hate their enemies. What did Jesus say when he was here on earth as God in the flesh? What did he say? You have heard of which that was written in the days of old. Love thy neighbor, hate your enemies. But I tell you, love your enemies. Nancy Mace, why don't you do that to your daughter? Why don't you love your mother? Why don't you love your daughter? Ah, that's right, because Leviticus chapter 19, verse 33 does not apply to you. So that's not your problem. And that's why we're here as a country. That's why America's not great. Because too many white people are too stubborn in the fucking head to say, hey, let me not love my neighbor as myself. Let me love myself than my neighbor. And that's why we're here. That's why America hasn't progressed. Because of people like you. Donald Trump was sent by God to expose the moral rot within his church. You. MAGA with 6 teeth, inbreds. as well as these fake ass predator catchers that say, "Ooh, I'm the hero of the internet. Ooh, I've been predator catching for 20, 30, 40, 60 years." But they get triggered the moment a cosplayer does their dirty job with physical altercation instead of fucking views and clicks. So Nancy, how about you go back to your country? How about you go back to your country? But you don't want to do that, right? Because you're too stupid and retarded. Same with MAGA. So again, you go back to your country. Ask a random Muslim whether did the United States benefited them. No, it hasn't. Go ask a random LGBTQ person. Has America benefited them? No, it hasn't. It only has benefited one specific race. White people. Pieces of trash white people like you. See, I'm white. But here's the thing, Nancy Mace. Here's the thing, Nancy. I voted for everyone else. Which means I voted for Kamala Harris. The most better and most presidential candidate that anyone could ever ask for. I voted for Barack Obama. I voted for John McCain. And I voted for, you guessed it, Kamala Harris. Why? Decency. That's why. So, Nancy Mace, before you go into an interview, how about you ask God why he hasn't blessed you with anything? How about you ask God why you're losing everything? Let me tell you why. Because you would rather be absent from the Lord and be present in your sinful desires instead of being absent from your body and being present with the Lord. That's why you're losing everything. That's why karma's coming to all of you. Not just from me, not just from Paul, not just from socialists, not just from leftists, but from God Almighty himself. While Jesus is looking at planet Earth through his eyes, he's watching us right now. God the Father, who sent Jesus as God in the flesh, is in the kitchen in heaven cooking some heat right now because he's sick and tired of how vicious, how violent, and how bombarded we've become. So Nancy Mace, before you judge another black person, how about you admit why you voted for a white supremacist? Why you voted for a rapist? But you wouldn't do that, wouldn't you? Because you're too damn stuck up to suck up Donald Trump's dick to completion. Oh, yes, daddy. Oh, I'll blame the brown people, daddy. Let me blame the black people, daddy. Let me do that, daddy. I worship Donald Trump, daddy, because he's my daddy, daddy. Yeah, that's what you are. You're a conspirator to the Antichrist. Now, mind you, Donald Trump is an Antichrist. He's not the Antichrist. Because here's the thing. What I've realized is that Donald Trump is only doing the work of the Antichrist, not the will of the Antichrist. So, does that help you understand why America was written with an X? Do you want to know what the April 8th of 2024 as well as the August 21st of 2017 solar eclipse did? They made a giant X on the United States. Do you want to know why? Because that wasn't just a coincidence. That wasn't just science. That wasn't fucking rocket science. That was God in his words saying, I told y'all, America is about to face my judgment, my wrath. That's why he made that X on the United States. Because America has gone completely violent. Do you remember in the days of Noah, Nancy? Oh, wait, never mind. You were never taught that when you were a little girl. So let me remind you of the days of Noah. So, when Noah was building the ark, he was preaching. He was preaching about the gospel. He was preaching about the news of the gospel. But many people ignored Noah and decided to go off while they're doing their own thing and fall asleep until the fucking flood came. And then God, the Father, wiped out all of civilization because he lamented of our creation. Because of how violent and vicious we've gotten. That's why God brought the flood. He lamented in creating us because of how vicious, how disgusting we were created in his image. Because of how violent and how vicious we've gotten. Aren't we all created equally in the image of God? Do you know what that means? Love thy neighbor as thyself. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 33. You wouldn't do that because that's not your problem. Mark chapter 9, verse 42. Whoever defiles these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for him if a great millstone were hung about his neck and he was casted into the sea. Do you know what Jesus was specifically saying out of context? He was specifically saying, whoever rapes my children, beat them up. But you don't want to do that, right, Nancy? You want to sit idly by with your phone out, right? You want to take out your phone and press the record button and do all this fancy shit with your phone. Meanwhile, a fucking predator known as Donald J. Trump rapes your daughter, right? Because you don't care. Because you don't care about what Jesus did for you. You don't care about what God did for you. You don't care. And that's the reason why we're fucking here as a country. So, Nancy, before you tell someone to go back to their origin of a country, how about you go back to your origin? How about you go back to the red origin? And if you don't know what that means, that is a reference from Carmine, from Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle in his Astral finish when he says, return to the red origin. So, how about you go back to the white origin, where you belong, Nancy Mace, in your mother's womb. But you wouldn't do that, right? Because you don't want to be uncomfortable. This is the reason why I do this. This is the reason why I practice Ephesians 5:11. Mind you, my family only wants the first part. Have nothing with the works of iniquity. That's it. But why do you think I do all of it? What does the second part say? But rather expose them. That's the reason why I do this. That's the reason why I make these live streams. I expose these fucking predators and these fake ass Christians. Go ask a random Muslim, Nancy. Since you think that's not your problem, go ask them if it was their problem. They're going to say yes, it is their problem. Because apparently Muslims loves this country more than your white ass can handle. Puerto Ricans love this country more than your white ass can handle. Japanese people love this country more than your white ass can handle. Black people love this country more than your white ass can handle. The United States of America. Do you know what united means? It means togetherness. It means oneness. It means oneness. It means togetherness. You want the divided states of America. When you divide the black people and the Puerto Rican people and the freaking Mexican people in their countries, in their origin. You just want white. White Africa, white Nevada, white Newark, white New Jersey. White, 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 white. You don't love the flag. No, you don't love the people it represents. You only love the flag. You only love the white, not the red and blue. You only love the white. So, Nancy Mace, before you judge someone, let me give you a scripture reminder. By your fruits shall you be judged. And in that same measure that you judge, you will be judged by that same measure. Judge thy neighbor fairly. But you don't want to do that. Right, Nancy Mace? Right, Nancy? You're focused on the war with Iran. You're focused on making people afraid. Oh, look at the brown people. They're eating the poisoning of America. They're eating the blood of America. Oh, look at the black people. They're poisoning your dogs and cats. Oh, look at the windmills. They're causing cancer. Where in the fuck has windmills caused cancer when they were first built? Where in the fuck did windmills cause cancer? I'm pretty sure you were watching Donald Trump at home when he was doing a conference briefing saying that, ooh, windmills are causing cancer. Ooh, the electric sharks are paying the electric bills. Ooh, the electric eels, the electric sharks. And you bought into the lie of American exceptionalism. And that is the reason why people like Nancy Mace, as well as Caroline Levitt, which, by the way, everyone, this is good news, God. We can finally kill pedophiles. In case you don't know, Caroline Levitt, the House, the secretary, the press secretary of the White House, has recently resigned because God woke her up and said, hey, you want to judge me? How about I make you lose your job? And look what happened. God came through. A big W to God. A big W to God. W God, W Jesus. You want to mock me? You want to desecrate my holy name? You want to desecrate my holy stature with this white supremacist? Bet. Let me make you lose your job. And immediately, Caroline Levitt resigns. Galatians 6:7. Do not be deceived, for the Lord shall not be mocked. And look what happened. She was talking all that talk of how she's a Christian and how she loves God and how, she's loving thy neighbor as thyself while supporting a white supremacist known as Donald J. Trump, who raped a 13-year-old. Hey, Caroline Levitt, how's losing your job as press secretary going out for you? You don't like it when God steps in and puts you in your place. You don't like it when God puts people in their place humbly. God humbled you to your damn fucking knees. And he will do the same for Nancy Mace. Galatians 6:7. Read that, Nancy Mace. Read that, but you don't want to do it. And it's the same with these MAGA and these fake-ass Christians and these fake-ass predator catchers who claim to be the hero of the internet. Galatians 6:7. Do not be deceived, for the Lord shall not be mocked. Big W to God Almighty for doing that to Caroline Levitt. Big W. Karma is on Caroline Levitt now because she desecrated not only the holy name of Yeshua HaMashiach, not only did she desecrate Jesus the Messiah, she desecrated the Father, which it is a very big offense. And look what happened. Her job was immediately erased as press secretary. Now, Nancy Mace, you want to disrespect God? Go ahead. Watch what happens when he puts you in your place. God does not like liars. He does not like deceivers. He does not like people who support white supremacy, which is Donald J. Trump. And he does not like people who go after people, killing them. So Nancy Mace, before you judge a black person, read the Bible. Read Ephesians 5:11. The reason why socialists like me and Chris Valenti and Paul Lance and everyone else is calling evil out in Ephesians 5:11. How about we read that? But you don't want to do it because that's not your problem. So I'll leave you with this, Nancy Mace. I'll leave you with this. First, they came for the Puerto Ricans. But to Nancy Mace, Leviticus chapter 19, verse 33 didn't affect her. So she ignored them because it wasn't her problem. Then they came for the transgender athletes. But again, Leviticus chapter 19, verse 33 didn't apply to Nancy Mace, so it wasn't her problem. So she ignored them. Then they came for the homeless. And again, Nancy Mace didn't want to deal with the homeless because Leviticus chapter 19, verse 33 didn't apply to her because it wasn't her problem. And then they came for me. And then they came for Nancy. And there was no one left for Nancy, and she was stoned to death for her hypocrisy. I pray to God, and I say this fictitiously, by the blood of the Lamb, by decree, as I declare, if I'm on the throne of the 24 elders, if I am chosen as the 24 elders, if I were to sit on the throne, I would apply Psalms 2, 1-2. But you don't want to read that too, don't you, Nancy Mace? Why do the nations rage and they all plot a vain thing? He who sits in heaven shall laugh. And that's exactly what I'm going to do to each and every single one of you MAGA voters who stand before God, and you fake-ass predator catchers who stand before God, and you fake-ass Christians who stand before God. I'm going to laugh at your hypocrisy. Oh, I just wanted to worship you, Lord, because I own the libs, Lord. I'm sorry. Whoa. Jesus, hold on. Jesus. What? You worship him? But you didn't care about the 14 million kids that went to school hungry. What do you mean? You talk big for loving Jesus, but when you're standing before him, now you act like you have a sort of regret. Boy, don't you fucking start. Boy, don't you start with your hypocrisy. You didn't show an inch of regret when Renee Good was shot by Jonathan Ross. You didn't cry a single fucking tear when Alex Preddy was shot by ICE. So don't act like you had a sort of regret now. Nah, now you see me on the 24 elders throne. Now you see me. Nobody is saying. I am going to have. Oh, Jesus is going. Nah, God the Father is going to have a field day with this hypocrisy. He is going to have a field day. And I'm going to be there laughing at y'all. I'm going to be there laughing at your hypocrisy, saying, Lord, I worshiped you. I loved you, but I owned the libs. I cared about the 14 million kids that went to school hungry, but they weren't my problem. I am going to laugh at y'all. Oh. You acted like you had a shred of regret before. Why you never showed any regret. You never shown any tears. So why are you crying now? Why you crying to God saying like, I didn't know what happened. I was just there and a child died in front of my eyes. Don't act like you had a shred of regret when you went on Earth. Because you never did. I am going to laugh at y'all. Oh, the amount of hypocrisy that is going to come out of these people's mouths. That's going to say, God, I loved you since birth. I loved you. I worshiped you and all this other stuff. I am going to laugh. I am going to laugh. It is going to be a field day. And I'm going to look at God and I'm like, God, see, I told you. These people are going to spout out nonsense, talking about I worshiped you, I loved you since birth, but they never loved their neighbors. They never once had a shred of care for the homeless. They never once had a shred of care for the 14 million kids that went to school hungry. They never talked about it on their page. They never talked about Renee Good on their page. They never talked about Alex Preddy on their page. I am going to laugh. And it's going to be fucking funny. I'm going to laugh at every single one of y'all, and it's going to be fucking funny. I am not fucking shitting you. This is how far from grace America has fallen. The amount of hypocrites, the amount of false prophets, false teachers, setting dates, thinking that, August 12th is the rapture. August 12th, we're going to lose gravity. August 12th this, August 12th that. Look at the scriptures. August 12th wasn't no rapture. That was a solar eclipse, but it wasn't science. It was God conveying a message saying, here's my chance to tell y'all, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand, as John the Baptist said when he was preaching out in the synagogue. Oh man, it's gonna be a field day for these hypocrites and these fake ass predator catchers and these fake ass wannabe Christians. It's going to be a field day. It is going to be a fucking field day, bro. I shit you not. It is going to be a field day. It is going to be a field day for Nancy Mace. I could imagine the words that will come out of Nancy Mace's mouth. I could imagine the amount of words that she's going to say before God. Oh, Jesus, I didn't mean to judge that black person. Oh, okay. But what about the 187 schoolgirls that were bombed in Iran? Hey, Nancy, when you stand before God, don't act like you had a shred of regret because you never did while you were on Earth. You never cried when Alex Preddy was dead. You never cried when Renee Good was dead. You never showed righteous anger when Donald Trump raped E. Jean Carroll, a 13-year-old. So why are you showing anger now? Why are you acting like you have a regret? You never had any regret. So why the fuck you acting like you had a regret? Man, go with Jeffrey Epstein, man. Go with Charlie Kirk. Don't nobody want people like you in heaven with with hypocrisy and lies and all that bullish coming out of your mouth? Don't nobody want you in heaven? Heck no. Don't nobody want you. Not even Jesus can't handle white supremacy. Not even Jesus can't. Jesus can't handle white supremacy. Jesus can't handle racism. He hates it. He hates pedophiles. He hates people who support pedophilia. So Nancy Mace, how about you go back to your country? But again, you don't want to do that because you want only white America. You want the divided states of America, not the united, which means togetherness. So Nancy Mace, have the day you voted for, okay? But when you stand before God, don't act like you had a shred of care, okay? When you stand before God, don't act like you had a shred of regret, because you never did when Alex Pretty died, when Lorenzo Salgado was shot, when Breonna Johnson, a black woman who was shot by a white police officer. So how about you go back to your country and stay the fuck away from this country? Because mind you, it never benefited anybody. It only benefited white supremacists like you, Nancy Mace. God sent Donald Trump to expose the moral rot within his church. You, Nancy Mace. So have the day you voted for, you white supremacist incel. Have a white day.